Welcome back to the Overwatch League, guys. Dylan Monty back for our third and final match of the day. It's going to be a really, really good one, man. Toronto Defiant taking on none other than their opponents.
The Chengdu Hunters.
Chengdu Hunters. That's right. I was getting there. Let me build suspense once in a while, man. Come on. The Chengdu Hunters, right, known for their insane Hammond play.
That's right.
That's pretty much, you know, what they do.
And part of their insane Hammond play has been to insane 0-4 defeats at the hands of the Seoul Dynasty and the Shanghai Dragons. And so we have to wonder, have they been figured out to a degree?
To answer your question, I think the answer is yes. I mean, a lot of teams have realized, hey, when Hammond comes in, we just run past him into the rest of the team and take him out. And that seems to have worked pretty well for a couple teams already, like you mentioned, Seoul and the Dragons as well. So it's going to be tough. Meanwhile, looking at Toronto, they are very much in the playoff hunt here. Their last two matches of the stage are this week. They play the Hunters today, and then they play the Spark a little bit later. And I gotta say, you know, coming into this one, I feel like they have a pretty good shot to win out. What do you think?
Definitely a possibility. Obviously, with their upcoming matches, Spark match is going to be a little bit more challenging, one might think. But the Hunters have a lot to play for too. Remember that they could go up to 3-2 with a win right here, and actually head up all the way into playoff standings, depending on their map differential at the end of the day.
Right, very much. And a big part of that is, of course, going to be Ivy, their flex player. Well, I mean, he's flexing this meta anyway. It's mostly a DPS, but we have seen a lot of great Zarya from this guy. And perhaps the biggest surprise is, like you can see on your screen, the turnaround for this guy between earlier in their matches to now lately, just absolutely tearing it up on this hero.
So one thing you can say about Ivy is that he's a very mechanically gifted player. His tracking is on point, really excellent aim. It's sometimes his decision-making that leaves something to be desired. But as we look at these statistics, sure, his final blows have gone down, but he's catching more people in the graviton surges, energy's going up, deaths are going down, and damage is also going up. So in general, we compare his first two matches to his most recent two matches, and we've seen quite a bit of improvement from Ivy, especially because he said, at least in his debut match, that he did have some nerves where he made a lot of his primary mistakes. So this is a player that is definitely on the up and up with the Toronto Defiant. Now, one thing the Toronto Defiant have to be careful about is that even though they're 3-2, they're sitting at a 0 map differential. So that map score is going to be important as they come into tonight.
Yeah, we keep saying, you know, every fourth map matters. That really might be even more important than usual later on in the series. We'll find out. But for now, give a big hearty Overwatch League welcome to the Toronto Defiant. Stellar leading the way for this team. And, you know, a lot of questions about them as they started the league. You had a couple veterans on the squad, like Envy, and you wonder, are these guys going to be able to step up? Neko, of course, they were without for a while too, finally coming in. That leadership combined with these other players, most of them coming over from the O2 organization in Korea, building this team, it really has started to come together well, hasn't it?
It's coming along. I don't know if we've really hit peak Toronto yet, again, because they're a team of a lot of individual skill, and they still need to work on better coordination and teamwork.
Fair enough. So, their opponents from China, the Chengdu Hunters. And certainly a team with one of the most unique styles we've seen in the Overwatch League. Unique, but lately fairly ineffective, as they've had a hard time making that Hammond-based, aggressive, DPS-oriented playstyle work in this meta. You gotta admire them for continuing to try it. They are good at it, but at some point you gotta wonder, you know, is this going to be good enough? And it's really looking like it's not lately.
I mean, from a meta perspective, are the Chengdu Hunters playing the strongest compositions and the strongest styles for this current patch? The answer is no. But unlike other teams that continue to play that meta and losing matches, the Chengdu Hunters have been able to steal a couple of wins, including one over the Guangzhou Charge in their first match, which I think is their most impressive victory so far.
Yeah.
And so they've made it work for them. And because they have such a unique style, as you say, running the Wrecking Ball with Eamon, it really makes it difficult, I think, for teams to prep effectively against them, because there are no scrim partners that are able to play this style at the same level they can.
We've got the double-edged sword there, right? Where you've got a team that's very hard to practice against because no one else plays that style, but you've also got a team that lately it seems like other teams teams have kind of figured out how to combat that, right? You just kind of ignore the wrecking ball, you run past, jump onto their team, or you just back up a little bit and then take him out while he's isolated, because generally you do see Eamon on the wrecking ball come in a lot earlier than the rest of his team to set up some of those plays. So it'll be interesting to see how Toronto kind of responds to that. There was an interview on YouTube with Bishop, one of their coaches, where he said over the weekend that he really wanted them to try to emulate more of like a New York style, more defensive, more clean. We'll see if they can do that today as we look at our Toyota map list here. We're going to start things off on Achilios. Then we will see where things go from there.
That's right. And I think we know what we're going to see. We're probably going to see Jinmu pulling out the Pharah here. He has been, by most metrics, top 2 Pharah player in this league alongside Prophet, but of course, much more devoted to it. Doesn't look like we will see it on this first point of well. Instead, Jinmu over on the Brigitte. And we're going to see some 3-3 with the twist here, with the Wrecking Ball as the main tank instead of a Winston.
I mean, this is just what they do. They reject the Winston, they reject the Reinhardt for the most cases. Ooh, going for the knockoff right there. Didn't quite push anyone off the edge, but set up perhaps a couple kills for his team. No, Elsa, the one getting demeched. And without that Diva suit, Hunters are going to be hurting early on as the point unlocks here. We'll see if Toronto can keep the ball rolling, no pun intended, as they try to push in. They're not the ones running the ball, but there we go. Roki finally knocking Ameng off the map, and that's going to be about it. Veltal taking the dive as well, so aiming on that wrecking ball. Coming in early, trying to set up those big plays, but it's not working out. And so far, Toronto Defiant going to be rolling into this one with the points advantage, and also a ton of ultimate percentage built up in that fight.
I mean, 95% on
That's
Ivy.
huge.
Already there, the Graviton Surge, leading Late Young by about 20%. And this is what we talked about, though, what you were mentioning. Eamon can get into that back line and try and be a disruptive and try to engage, but many teams are saving the speed boost that speeds up everybody on your team from Lucio to get people into an engagement or away from that wrecking ball.
Yeah, good stuff. Ivy has his Graviton Surge ready to go. See if he can crowd control some people. There, the minefield comes out from Eamon, though. Graviton Surge locking some people against the wall, but where's the damage follow-up? Luckily for the Hunters, the minefield ended up protecting them. Now the knockup comes in from Eamon. They're going to throw their own grab in there. Looks like it's going to be Transcendence. Neko trying to keep people healed up with that Zenyatta ultimate, as Hunters have to back away and wait them. And oh, Jinmu get a little bit low, a little bit caught out there, and Eamon has like no health left as he comes in, and that's just going to be Toronto, I think, kind of having a pretty easy part, honestly, after that first ultimate, picking apart the Chengdu Hunters.
Yeah, I think you're looking at some of the issues when it comes to running 3-3 with the Wrecking Ball as your main tank.
Yeah.
I think that when we look at the Defiant running the Winston, you have that opportunity just to dive into the enemy backline, and while the Wrecking Ball is trying to reposition, even though he is fast, he's not going to be as fast as an entire speed boosted team or a Winston jumping onto your supports.
Right, and Winston has Primal Rage too, right? The durability that the Reinhardt and the Winston have just doesn't exist with the Wrecking Ball, with the Hammond. You have to be much more precise. There's another Graviton Surge coming from Toronto. Self-destruct thrown in there. Going to be a sound barrier protecting some of the members of the Hunters. Kyo, though, his Transcendence ending now, and the shields wearing away on the Hunters. Here's where they really need to pick up some kills. They use 2 support ultimates. They need to get something out of it. It's 99% already for Toronto, and there we go. The Hunters are able to chain that into a team fight win. So at the very end, they will finally flip the point, but Defiant has all the time in the world to get this back.
They do, Doa, and also Late Young is really going to want that Graviton back. Envy had already been demeched, and it was rolling towards a fight win for Chengdu. Instead, they expend a very valuable ultimate. They're going to have to contest with Ivy's ult now.
Ooh, okay, he's going to drop the minefield down, just blocking the path off for the Toronto Defiant. Yakpung very nicely split off from the rest of his team. That was actually a great play by the Hunters, and that's going to buy them some time. They're a quarter of the way there, and they just got to keep it going now.
And the best thing that the Chengdu Hunters do, when we see them at their finest, it's by being aggressive and playing chokes forward around that minefield.
Yeah.
Eamon knows all the points where he can sort of, on any map, drop down unexpectedly on you, slide off roofs, gets very dicey.
Yeah, you got to have time to build that minefield back up again. And he's only at 40% right now. They have to win another fight straight up right here. They've got Kyo's Transcendence on that Zenyatta. He's going to use it now to try to keep everybody healed again. Defiant, a lot of ultimates of their own. They're going to throw in the Graviton Surge. Where's the follow-up? Self-destruct from NB gets to Kyo and Eamon down, and we're back. Flipped over to Toronto Defiant, controlling the point. Overtime expiring soon. And I think the Hunters are in a lot of trouble here. Elsa trying to keep it alive with the D.Va, just trying to keep that overtime going. Now it's Veltal's turn. Eamon is back, and they've got their own grab. Ivy, though, doing the damage that they need, and even with Late Young's kill, he's going to get killed in response, and it's just going to be so hard for Toronto to get pushed off this point here.
Yeah, it is. There's still 5 members, and they can't make it back. Pushed off for just a second with that late into overtime. Gives Toronto the win.
What can you do? I mean, and I feel like that round really kind of typifies what we were expecting coming into this series, unfortunately, you know, where the Hunters, you know, they've got their style, and it's cool, and it is aggressive, and it is something that other teams haven't practiced against as much, but they've been doing it every match of the season so far. And, you know, in this meta, it's tough to make it work so consistently.
I mean, I think it's hard for the Hunters because they do have another tank player, Jachirin, who has not yet arrived in Los Angeles, so they're sort of waiting. You know, they're doing what they can with the pieces they have, and Eamon is a fantastic Wrecking Ball player, and with some of the future buffs that Wrecking Ball is going to receive, we anticipate at least, those are not finalized yet, but it might be a very important part of the metagame. So a future weapon for sure, but definitely an inconsistently good one right now.
Stuff on the public test realm is certainly exciting for Hammond players out there. Neko excitingly swapping to the Ana this time around. And he's going to try to land some of those sleep darts onto Wrecking Ball. There is that little pause when you go up for the ground slam that Anas can actually capitalize on to land that sleep dart, prevent you from slamming down. Eamon right now just trying to stay on the point right now with the rest of his team. They're trying to control it first. Toronto on the outside looking in, trying to push forward here. Eamon blocking the door. And he's getting hacked a little bit. He's in big trouble. Elsa comes in with a hack onto Yakpung, actually. Over on the Toronto side, a lot of low health members here. Ooh, Ivy nearly went down. Stayed alive, and he's got to stay alive. They're going to give him the nano boost. He's going to do so much damage as he pushes back on the Hunters. And there's the grab. Lots of damage. Jinmu the first to fall, but probably not the last. There goes Veltal as well. And Hunters were so close to taking that, but the defensive play, the patient play from Defiant, winning in the end.
I mean, Chengdu has run this style of composition on this point before on Achilios, so Toronto Defiant definitely ready for it, and that means that's when the Ana's going to come out there. No, they're not going to be running the D.Va here with the defensive matrix to block a lot of the incoming heals. And, well, the Yara's going to pick off Roki, though.
If you want to get that good start, having a 6v5 before the fight begins, certainly will not hurt. It's going to be the Primal Rage right away from Yakpung just to try to buy some time. Here comes the grab, though, for the Hunters. Ivy falls almost immediately, and they've got a real chance to flip this one back here. It's only sub 40% right now for the Defiance, so it's a good time to swap it.
Yeah, definitely is. And that was a solo grab from Late Young onto Ivy just to make sure they could finish off the point. And they retain their EMP into the next fight, and now they can play aggressively with the minefield as well. So this is Chengdu really at their finest right now, when they can play in choke points, when they can force you to walk through all of the area of effect denial that they have with that minefield and with the EMP.
Well, they love taking the high ground on this map too. Yakpung, though, having none of it, gonna take out Kyo on his own, and they're gonna go ahead and drop the nano boost onto Yakpung. Waiting to find targets for it. Jinmu down. Turns out
he was looking for Elsa.
He did get EMP'd as well, so that did kind of slow him down a little bit. Either way, it looks like Toronto Defiant coming out ahead in this fight. They're going to go try to flip it now with Chengdu about 35% as Eamon tries to delay this just a little bit more. It's looking okay. They've actually pulled back. Oh, but now they lose Veltal, and that's a problem. Minefield comes in, though, on top of the grab, and that's a double kill for Eamon. He got the nice slam right after the minefield. Classic Wrecking Ball expertise. It's what you can expect from this guy, and it is certainly paying off so far.
Yeah, very good at using that combo. And Toronto Defiant, they're still struggling to make it all the way to the point because the Chengdu Hunters, they can trip you up so much on your approach, even though looked like a one fight by Toronto. Chengdu had enough time to recover, respawn, and get back to the point faster.
All right, decides to just focus on the Winston. Trying to knock him off the high ground here. Yakpung does have the Primal Rage available right now, but Neko down already. Nice pick by Kyo as the Graviton Surge comes out from Defiant. It's going to be a kill onto Jinmu from the self-destructive Toronto. Stellar down, though. What can you do, man? Yakpung pops that Primal Rage now. It is a full-on brawl here. Ivy trying to do the damage, but he can't live. And Hunters just scrapping their way into another teamfight win, and they're up to 90% on the control point right now.
It must be awful to play against Eamon. He is everywhere at all times. He's bisecting this team with the minefields. He's laying it on top of the Graviton surges.
He knows what's up. Going down on a Neko now. Able to get the slam, but not the kill. The team protecting their Zenyatta on the Toronto side. Eamon dodging back for a little bit of health regen. Ivy is swapped over to his favorite Tracer. Like I said, DPS, man. Chengdu drops the sound barrier. Ivy comes in with the pulse bomb. Has to go ahead and dodge that self-destruct. Ahmed manages to get Stellar. Eamon with a kill on that wrecking ball. Oh, and Ivy finds one into Late Young with the pulse bomb. He's been waiting for this moment, man. Can they turn it into a swap, though? Eamon is down. It's a chance for Defiant. They might be able to get it here.
Yeah, Ivy's trying to pop off right now, finish off the last couple of supports, but he's got to be careful of Jinmu's shield bash.
Yeah, that's right. Jinmu, don't have to be careful about him anymore at all. He's gone. Ivy with the kill there, and they flip it back. 99% for Chengdu, but Toronto give themselves a new lease on life here on Ruins.
Ivy's just going to switch off right now, heading all the way back to try and get back on the Zarya. Fortunately for him, he'll be about matched when it comes to ult percentage for Late Young, but they're going to have to give up ground on this point. He's not going to be back in time, even with the help from his Lucio speeding onto the point.
Yeah, he's got the speed boost to get back there. Eamon getting aggressive onto Envy in the back lines, just trying to create some space. There's Yakpung with the Primal Rage, pushing the Hunters back. Kyo saving that Transcendence, going to use it at the same time as Defiant's Neko drop his. Eamon, speaking of dropping, comes down the back line. But so far it's a standoff. No, Yakpung takes on Jinmu in the back lines. Finally gets him, but he pays for it with his life. Late Young comes back with one himself. Now the sound barrier Hunters. Maybe they can turn this one around. We'll see. They're flipping the point right now. Can they complete it? Eamon does have the minefield. It looks like it's going to catch a couple people. It's at least going to block Toronto from getting in there. There's the flip, and now overtime starting to expire. It's going to be the self-destruct from Envy. No kills out of that one, but it does pave the way for Yakpung to get back onto the point here. Eamon did get a kill into Rocky. Well, Roki actually walked right into that ultimate from Wrecking Ball. Kind of surprised he got caught by that one, and have Chengdu's tying it up here. They may have Ivy just trying to stay alive, and he can't do it on the Tracer. And that will be Chengdu Hunters tying things up here on Ilios.
Eamon was absolutely everywhere on that map. 19 limbs, 8 final blows. It's a little bit behind Late Young, but having that many on a Wrecking Ball is a feat in and of itself. We're going to see how Roki died right here because it was very weird.
Oh, he just jumped right onto it, I think. Whoops.
Oh, no.
You forget the minefield is there, and that's what happens.
That was a pretty crucial elimination as well. Wall riding straight into a minefield.
It's tough to say anything negative about him because Roki sounds like an adorable Pokemon name, so, you know. You got to give points for that, I guess. Roki, I choose you.
I was going to say that was Roki, a bad play.
That applies too. That's, oh, I'll take it.
All right, Jinmu.
Oh, here we go. All right, the Pharah coming out for Chengdu Hunters. Jinmu, one of the best out there, that's for sure. Did he get the knockoff?
Looked like, oh, just barely.
Very close. I kind of thought it might be one too.
All right, but this is a prepared strat, so the reason why Neko's playing the Moira here is because they don't really care, well, unless they're D.Va gets D-Mech. That is a massive problem. Wow.
Now you're not going to be able to stop those rockets. I mean, you've got the Reinhardt shield, but that's about it. Neko taking a lot of damage right off the bat here. He's on the Moira, so he's got that escape mechanic at least in the fade. But Yakpung, too low. There goes Elsa. So a kill on both sides here, but yeah, that barrage is up, man. Jinmu just waiting for the chance to do it. Elsa does get res. He's coming in just raining from the side. He's going to just get charged down by Jinmu. That was a little bit too bold.
And he got his mech back, though.
Yep. That's right.
You know, it's one thing to try and go in there when the mech isn't there, when the D.Va can't deny all of those rockets by using the defense matrix and charge at your face with the boosters. But once you get the remech in, makes all the difference in the world. Now, the reason why Defiant are doing this is because they want the Moira, who has a lot of area of effect healing on the point, because Chengdu is trying to poke in from the outside. Once Toronto gains presence on the point, Elsa's going to need to use this EMP to disable all of the abilities from the Defiant, but
gets found out. He has to get into the old-fashioned.
There it is.
Walks in, EMPs. There's a minefield. They've got the sound barrier on the Hunters as well. Can they chain it into a team fight win, though? Yakpung extremely low. No more Reinhardt for Toronto. It could be a problem here. Eamon getting buried by himself. Will he continue to get out, though? He's got no health left. That go down. Jinmu found him with a rocket. Toronto still sitting on this point. Kyo gets rezzed by Veltal. They're gonna need more. Oh, Jinmu nearly get roasted immediately by Ivy. That's a high damage. Sorry, you gotta worry about it. Another barrage from the side, and Jinmu once again taken out. This time by Ivy. Late Young decides to go for the. Oh, what a displacement! What a knockback by Eamon. Shield was not up there. Doesn't matter in the end. Toronto maintains the point, but that was a cute move by Eamon there to get that kill onto Yakbang. That was
I love watching Eamon play. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be enough to flip the point at the end. The competition is just too strong from the Toronto Defiant. There's not enough point presence from the Hunters.
You got to be the defender really with the Pharah. It's so tough to assault a control point with that. It's going to be the grab from Ivy now as they try to lock it up. Another EMP from Elsa. Late Young, the one losing his mech, though, despite all those hacks on Toronto from the Semmler ultimate. Self-destruct coming in. It's going to be the sound barrier, but Yveltal gets taken out. That's Hunters giving it up in Toronto, able to win the map 2-1.
Great play there on Lighthouse from Toronto, coming in with exactly the strat to counter what they knew the Chengdu Hunters were going to be running.
True enough. Well, the Hunters always entertaining, but unfortunately not getting to win yet in map number 1. They'll get a chance to tie it up. When we come back, don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.